if we're going to get into this right now, actually, about the defense, how we've held them out, because let's be honest, me and you, with our biggest issue with last year was the defensive resiliency, and
Hmm.
we talked about how much we couldn't even hold them out for one set. If people got on our goal line, we could not hold teams out for one single set. They
Yep.
were scoring at will at times, and we were trying to find reasons or why that was happening. We come into this point now where we keep a team like the Dolphins, who SJ's praised Isaiah Couture. They got
Yep.
internationals in Farworth, Hemiso. They got quality in the back line, speed of Avarilla, and we shut them out. Clean sheet nearly for 70 minutes.
Mm.
What has been the difference? Is it personnel? Did Webby change his system a little bit? Did he tweak things, or is this just is this preseason paying off? What is the difference in your point of view that's starting to make us work so efficiently from what we were last year?
I think it's a combination of a lot of those things as well. Again, bro, you hit the nail on the head with all those things. I think the biggest thing I buy into is that we're more of a team-based side right now than we were last year. I believe that, with the egos that we had in that side, no, I don't mean egos in a term like these guys are egotistical or anything like that, but we had players like Adam Fanua Blake, an individual freak of nature. It's pretty hard to not be able to just be like, give him the ball and allow him to do his job and all that sort of stuff. And we'll kind of, do whatever we can to clean up around it. Sean Johnson, he had the majority of the touches in our side. He was, doing all the work within the halves pairing. So those little things, right? We're taking those guys out of the side. So everyone has to step up and everyone steps up around him. And I think that's what Fish has brought to the squad as well, is that everyone has to do their job to get the job done. Very similar to what the Dogs have been doing this year, and that's the reason why they're going so well. Obviously, top of the competition, we're right there with them. That's what made the Penrith Panthers back in the day when Fish and Leota, they aren't Payne Haas's of the world that are playing 60 to 80 minutes, majority of the touches going for 180 meters per game. But they do such a key, vital role that gets you premierships and gets you wins in the competition and gets you defensive strongholds, right? And I think that's what's really changed between the boys is not having that big key piece. Everyone's going like, oh, he'll do all the work and we'll just do whatever around it, right? Where everyone's going to get through their work. Aaron Clark's getting through his numbers. Mitch Barnett's getting through his numbers. I think that our defensive mobility has gotten a lot better in the middle. We don't have big, lazy bodies. I think everyone's got really good side-to-side movement. And last of all, I do think that fitness has been brought in as well, whether that's Fish coming over and raising the standard of the squad, raising the standard of our training there. But also Webby has come out multiple times in the preseason saying that this time, with the longer preseason, he feels like he's learnt the lessons of last year of how much to train the boys and, how much training we can get in without all the issues that plagued us last year with the flooding going on over in New Zealand and having to move the boys around and, forgetting about all the key stuff. So I think there's a lot of that. But I think just at the moment, bro, we are playing as a side, playing as a team. And I think that's the biggest key for us with our defense, and our attack will come towards the end of the year with that coming together first of all. But defense wins premierships and wins premiership games as well during the year.
Because you're thinking like Isaiah Couture is going to be able to just dice this team up, based on his late out the back passing, his playing short, or in. I was so surprised to see us just kind of every sweeping play they tried to make, we just shut it down. They go back the other way, they shut it down. We shut it down through the middle. And it was just one unit. And that's where, I don't... the critique of even Dallin is harsh because those grubbers in behind, if you look at it, there was cover for it. On the last kick for Bostock, who was there like at the split second that he kicked it and probably forced the kick to go out? It was CNK.
Yep.
So it's from a systems point of view, they're going to give that option and CNK is going to have to cover it. And did it really well. So there's systematic things that I think people do blame certain players for, but from a system point of view, I thought Dallin played well. Roger, they all played really tidy, and so I actually got to give a big rep to the halves too. Metcalf's been rock solid all season, man. Like rock solid, embracing the contact, taking it. Same with CHT. Egan tackle tech has been clean
Unreal.
as crisp as hell.
Yep.
And this is a player that we thought we need to have Elastic on the bench or Healy straight away because he's not going to last 80. He's tidied that up something crazy. And then you got the Fishers and you got the young pups just dominating in the tackle, putting on shots. It's like it's just had a whole new kind of revamp of energy. And like you say, pieces, different things, working in his favor, man. Like I can't get over that. Yeah.
And not to go back on a point that we discussed on last week, guys, if you want to go back and discuss of like my thoughts around Dallins, because it's always been a hot topic right now. I get frustrated seeing it everywhere because he's doing what the system is entailing him to do. And you probably kind of pointed it out before where our defense is to cut off time and space between those key members and causing the Dolphins to do the less high percentage play in those moments, right? So let's go through the tree of what a high percentage play is. What's the highest percentage play in an attack in rugby league football? Running the ball. That is number one. No matter what, teams that are one out hit ups, they're the highest completion team. That's, the highest percentage play overall is run the ball. What's the second highest? Passing the ball, right? The one-man pass, right? Just passing to the guys next to you.
Yep.
And it gets worse and worse the whole way through. When Dallin's got to cut down that time and space due to the breakdown from the middle where the boys aren't numbering up well enough on that edge, he's got to shut down time and space. What does that have to cause those key members to do with the halves of the Dolphins? It's either you're going to have to do a 2 to 3 man cutout ball. That's a high risk play, right? It only comes off for only the good players in the competition, or a grubber in behind, which obviously they couldn't get right on the day, right? Cody Nicarima, that's a high risk, high reward type of play right there. So, first of all, what Dallas doing is protecting his inside. That is always what you learn as a footballer these days. This isn't the 90s where you got to stay on your edge, stay on your line. It's not the 90s. The amount of times I've heard it, it just frustrates the hell out of me because Tane did exactly the same thing when he was in our system. If you go watch the Doggies play football, that's exactly how they defend. Marcelo Montoya still does the exact same thing as what he did with us. So, guys, just understand that is the way we play our football. And, it's great to see we got players right now that are playing to our system to a T, especially when, you got your edge cutting down there. Our inside middles are over chasing really hard to put pressure on Isaiah Qatar and Cody Nicarima on the weekend. And it's causing those high pressure moments where those halves are making the wrong decisions. And that's where we got the win over the weekend.
Yeah. And the jamming winger is an effect of the block shape.
Yes.
Once you get a block shape going, it just pulls people. It just draws defenses in. So I think that's been the adaptation from the NRL is the jamming winger to accommodate for the block shape. And now, like you're saying, if you better be amazing at that cutout pass. And your kicking behind has to be pinpoint. It's credit to the team. And the defense, the middle defense has been fantastic. And
agreed.
Again, to go 70 minutes in the 6 again era, when you're inclined to give up points, is absolutely amazing. No matter who the team, in NRL, anyone can score 40 to 50. Man,
we limited the Dolphins that scored 40 points, 38 unanswered points on the Melbourne Storm. We limited that Dolphins team to only scoring points within the last 10 minutes of the game. And one of those tries was when one of our boys was sin-binned off the field. I understand we had a couple of things go away with 50-50 calls and this and that, right? But, even when those things were happening, I felt like our goal line defense was on that day. Everything the Dolphins were throwing up, we were shutting down. It only come towards the later end of the game where it kind of felt like it was more so dead and gone in moments, and we kind of got a revival due to the sin bin, is really why the roller coaster ride started to happen all over again, right? It's happened a couple of games already this season, and sure, we need to close out games a little bit better. But, I'm sure the boys will continue to learn while they're winning. And as Webby said, this felt like the most controlled game that we've had, this season as well. It shows some more growth that we continue to have, which I'm very, very excited for. So very happy with our defense right now. And hopefully it just continues to build throughout the season.
Look, I'd much rather this type of game style than what we saw last year, where we had a lot of, when we get on the attacking line, we'd shift it right, double leads and all that. But it led to eventually not scoring enough points or not being able to be creative at times. Whereas I'm enjoying this style where it is a little bit like less, I suppose, expansive. I mean, these kicks to the centers is actually a fantastic. It's actually I try to break it down when I was doing my videos that when you kick it to the center like that, how CHT does, it puts the winger in the bind because the winger has to drop in
Yep.
because and then the center has to what do they call it, escort Pompey.
Yep.
And then if you're leaving that winger exposed, it's actually a genius play if you can pull it off like 50 to 60% of the time because it's a try nearly every. You saw we nearly scored it again with CHT where
I
Licker
know.
came around, and I'm like, those are little like you're thinking of the evolution of Webby from when the squad he had in 2023 now to this kind of game models. Like, bro, this guy's cooking up something crazy, and it's different. It looks, yeah, it's
Especially
crazy.
when we've got some amazing athletic edge back rollers in the competition as well. It's not just the centers we
Yeah.
have there, but Lecker is well known when coming through the grade for getting up there under a high ball and coming down with it. He's done it multiple times in the New South Wales Cup and an SG ball through his career. Jacob Laban has showed that ability as well, obviously scoring a try like that in this game as well. Is a high percentage play overall. You know, get through your set, complete really well, kick to your corners, see what comes from it, and then return and go through our defensive sets all over again. And I think the boys are doing that really well. And when they're not doing that, they're playing smash mouth football. You know, Martin Ayecw, that's 2 games in a row where we've had that overs line, and it's been unreal too. So shout out to Murata as well, a guy that probably I spotlight a little bit. He's playing some really good footy at the moment, in my opinion. And you know, getting 2 tries, I think it's 2 tries in a row now. Probably 3 or 4 tries within this year in itself from very similar players.
Bro, it's everyone's just again, yeah, everyone's having a great. Marata's been a low key good one too.
He has.
He's been playing well. I can't wait to see him. I want to see him. I'd love to see him play a bit more front row, but
Yeah, agreed.
time will